Hello, doctors and students. Welcome back to the UCM podcast. I am Dr. Bill Davis, founder and CEO of UCM Practice Growth Systems. Excited to be back with you again. I have an awesome guest today, Dr. James Pietrek from Minnesota. Dr. Pietrek, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Davis.
One of the things that has always been important to you, like as you mentioned, is trying to communicate the above, down, inside out philosophy or understanding to patients in a way that would make sense to them and also in a way that would be consistent with how you see it. And so I'd love for you to start to talk through that with the audience because it is, it is essential really to what we do, what you do as upper cervical chiropractors, right? It's such a foundational thing that you do every day. And some doctors, like you said, they may not talk about it at all, and others may talk about it maybe too much, but somewhere in between is probably where you should be, right? So what's how are you
Yeah,
discussing with patients? What is it? What is it that you really been going into when it comes to patient education?
sure. When you combine Dorland's and Webster's, you're going to get physical, mental, social, and spiritual, actually. And so to me, to be most consistent and to be science, art, philosophy, really an inside out with as little friction points as possible, it just makes sense to honor that. If DD didn't have an understanding of tone and harmonics and resonance and frequency and vibration and such, he wouldn't have made the definitions that he did early on. And, you know, BJ talked about how God is innate or innate is God. And that, to be honest, that kind of weirded me out a little bit. It's like, gosh, BJ, a genius, but he said these things and kind of, where am I going to stand on this? How can I be consistent? And a topic that I just find myself YouTubing, anyways, is the topic of intelligent design. And let me just define sort of what that is, because there might be some confusion on this. It used to be maybe creationism. In other words, things are the way they are because that's the way God would have them. Well, you can't, you're immediately dismissing yourself from a scientific argument at that point. 2 + 2 = 4 before a calculator or a professor could say so. So these principles that sustain and that create are there. And if we take the worldview that there are design patterns all around us, then just like they do in aeronautics, they look at a bird to figure out how to make the plane fly better.
Mm.
We can see patterns, and I've seen patterns with this function to structure concept in a chiropractic setting on a daily basis. As I discovered this functional integration thing and something called the Mandelbrot set, the Mandelbrot equation, which to me is like the new E = MC squared. The thing that made me click on his video and learn about this in the first place, which gives me a linear way to present the nonlinear topic of ADIO in the form of a tic-tac-toe board, is he said this: bottomless wonders spring from simple rules repeated without end.